Hi, I'm Daniel Fox and welcome to my Design and Technical Operations presentation. So the two centres I've decided to compare on this presentation are Dormers Wells Leisure Centre and Phoenix Fitness Centre and a Janet Adegoke swimming pool. So just a bit of background about Dormers Wells Leisure Centre. It's based in the borough of Ealing, London. It's owned by Ealing Council and operated by GLL on behalf of Ealing Council. The facilities itself is host to a 20 by 12 metre swimming pool. And it was built in 1972. This pool hosts general swimming, school lessons, swim school program and a swimming club. Phoenix Fitness Centre and a Janet Adegoke swimming pool is based in White City, Hammersmith. It's owned by Hammersmith and Fulham Council and it's run by GLL on behalf of the council. It was built in 2006 and one of the facilities in this centre is a 25 by 16 metre swimming pool. It's host to public swimming, school lessons, swim school programme, canoe clubs and a swimming club. So this is the bird's eye view of Dormers Wells Leisure Centre. This is the surrounding area. We're in Southall. So here we've got the leisure centre and the pink square is actually the pool hall. It's built in a residential area with lots of high-rise flats and houses, which you see around the outskirts. And directly next door we've got fields going around the centre and a school which is just here, which is Dormers Wells High School, as it is a dual-use centre, so they use it as well as us, or as well as GLL. Phoenix Fitness Centre and a Janet Adegoke swimming pool. This is the White City area. And this is actually White City Estate, so as you can imagine there's lots of high-rise flats and houses around the actual leisure centre. Here's the leisure centre here, and in the pink box is the actual pool hall for the swimming pool. What we have directly next door is we have the school, which is Phoenix High School, and again like Dormers Wells it's a dual-use centre, so the school are in there quite a bit. Directly next door to the centre we've got a major shopping centre Westfield, a major football ground Loftus Road, and we have a major road, the A40, that goes directly into London. Okay, so the floor plans of the centre. On the left here we've got Dormers Wells Leisure Centre. This is the actual pool hall here that we'll be talking about today and comparing. And on the right we've got the Janet Adegoke swimming pool, which is just here, which is in the Phoenix Fitness Centre. Okay, so we're just going to talk about a bit about the pool systems. The Dormers Wells pool system, it's a deck level pool and it has 16 inlets that are evenly spaced around the pool on the poolside tank. 4 outlets that are evenly spaced throughout the centre of the pool from shallow to deep. The primary disinfection is calcium hypochlorite. There's no secondary disinfection. The pH corrector is hydraulic acid and the coagulant they use is PAC. The pool chemical dosing unit, the water top up and the heating is all automatic. The circulation drives are variable and the filter is multi-grain filtration system and the temperature is kept at 29.5 degrees Celsius. So this is a bit about the actual flow of the water through the system at Dormers Wells. So the water leaves the pool from the outlets via the deck level lip or through the outlets at the bottom of the pool. The water is sucked through the balance tank towards the circulation pump where it first goes through the strainer basket. Water is then forced through the system by the pumps and it first passes the dosing sample point. So this is where water is taken to the dosing unit and the free chlorine and pH levels are read by the dosing unit. After it does that, it's passed through the system where then the PAC is added to the water. It then reaches a point where chlorine is injected into the water if it's called upon by the dosing unit. Water is then filtered through the system and the PAC remains on top of the first layer of the filters. After the water is filtered through, it's then forced through the heat clarifier and then it's heated to the desired temperature if needed. pH corrector is then added after this point and then it's put back into the pool. So the Janet Adegoke swimming pool, very similar to the way that Dormers Wells run. It's a deck level pool. There's 15 outlets evenly spaced around the whole pool. There's 4 outlets, but rather than going from shallow to deep, they're evenly spaced through the deep end, so from the side to the other side of the pool. The primary disinfection, they have a more up-to-date ultraviolet disinfection unit, which is the primary disinfection. And then the secondary disinfection is sodium hypochlorite, so that's the backup. pH corrector, sodium bisulfate. They use PAC, the same as Dorm as well. The chemical dosing unit is automatic, the same as Dorm as well. But their water heating is manual, so they don't have automatic systems for them too. Their circulation drives are fixed drives, so they're not variable. They have the same filter type, multi-grain, and the pool temperature is kept at 28 degrees Celsius. So this is the treatment flow for the Janet Adegoke swimming pool. So the only difference is that it goes through the UV system, as obviously that's the primary disinfection, before it then goes back into the pool. So quickly it leaves the pool, water is sucked through the balance tank, through the straining basket, then the circulation pumps force it around the system, it passes the sample point where water is taken to the dosing unit to read the levels. PAC is then added to the water. Water is filtered through the filters, and the PAC remains on top of the filter. After the water is filtered, some of the water is forced through the heat clarifier, and depending on what is required, it's then heated up. Water then passes through the UV system. The acid is then added to the water, and then the chlorine is added just before it's put back into the pool. Okay, air handling units at the pools. Both of them manage their air temperature with air handling units. This manages the temperature of the air and the condensation levels or humidity levels of the air as well. This is done by regular circulation of the air with supply and extraction, regular supply and extraction of the air in their pool pools. So the air supply, both facilities use similar units that use gas heaters or boilers to heat their air supply to the pool pools. The air is drawn from the outside, it passes through a filtration system, then a heating system before it's pumped onto the pool side. The air extraction, air is then pulled from the pool side, that was firstly pumped in, so it's then taken out of the pool and then taken out of the building. Both the centres use BMS or building management systems, and what they do is they actually control the air handling units depending on what is required. So they control the air temperature and the humidity levels, and they read them levels and adjust the air depending on them. Okay, so this is Dorm as Well's pool hall, and this is the kind of circulation flow for their pool. So what they have is they have 12 evenly spread inlets over the top of their pool, which is then drawn to the side where the extraction takes it out. So at the top here, we have the inlets going in on top of the pool. The air then filters through to the side where you put 4 extraction points. And from a bird's eye view, it kind of looks like this. The red are the inlets, the blue arrows are the airflow, and the blue rectangles are the extraction points. Very basic system. Some faults may be that here, when the air is just put in, it's going straight out to extraction, so it's not making the most use of the air that is filtered and heated, and it's a bit of a waste of money. Janet Adegoke hold a similar design, but the difference is they have, instead of having it evenly spaced throughout the whole pool, all over the top of the pool, they have it going right down the centre of the pool. So what they have is they have this inlet here, major inlet, which then has 14 points where it is then pushed out onto the pool, the air, and then they have the extraction right at the end where the air is extracted. So the airflow kind of looks like this, and what you have is the air being pushed out to the side over the centre of the pool. It then draws itself up and is taken out at the extraction point. Again, maybe not the best design because they have an inlet right by the extraction point, so air is basically being pumped right into the pool and then possibly taken straight out before it's used to its maximum potential. Okay, so the building materials and other technical facts. Both pool halls are built out of brick. The only difference is the Janet Adegoke swimming pool is actually tiled on the inside. They both use anti-slip tiles. Janet Adegoke swimming pool also use anti-slip tiles in the shallow end of their pool to stop people slipping over. They both have windows on their pool side. So Dorm as well as Leisure Centre have 4 major windows in the corner of their pool side. It allows a lot of light coming in, but it also is quite good in the fact that it's behind the lifeguard position, so there's no glare majorly caused by them windows being there. Whereas the Janet Adegoke swimming pool, at each length of their pool, they have windows at the top. Where the first lifeguard is situated, the sun rises opposite them, and these windows allow quite a lot of light to come in and causes quite a bit of glare onto the pool. They do have blinds on the actual windows, fixed blinds on the outside, but this doesn't prevent the whole light coming in, and it is quite a defect in the design because it does allow a lot of light in and it doesn't cause a lot of glare on the actual pool water. Okay, the pool lighting. Dormers Wells is lit by 12 set of 4 T5 4-foot lamps, and the pool hall at Phoenix Fitness Centre is lit by 8 sets of 4 24-watt spotlights. These are both energy efficient. The design of the Janet Adegoke swimming pool is actually quite clever. So what they have is the spotlights facing up to the ceiling, and at the top of the ceiling they have like mirrors or deflectors that deflect the light back onto the pool side. And the reason for this is so when the lights or lamps need replacing, they don't actually have to get scaffolding to go up to the top. They can just do it from the side because they're actually quite low on the wall, so it's easy to access. Okay, pool access for Dormers Wells. They comply with obviously the Disability Act as best as possible. They have automatic doors on reception. All the centre is on the same level. They're disabled changing facilities, and they have a pool hoist to get less physical able people in and out of their pool, which is just on the right hand side there. The Janet Adegoke swimming pool also complies with the Disability Act as well as possible. It's all on the same level. They have automatic doors, disabled changing facilities and toilets. But instead of using a pool hoist, what they actually have is a pool ramp. So they have water designed wheelchairs to get people in and out of the pool using this ramp here. Quite a clever way of getting people in and out, but as you can probably tell, that takes up a lot of the pool and you lose a lane because of it. So it's actually a 5-lane swimming pool when it could have been a 6-lane swimming pool. So they've lost a lane because of that. Also, you've got a brick wall in the centre here. Not in the centre, but on the side of the ramp. So that comes up to the water surface. That's a bit of a problem because the inlets are on the outside of the pool and it stops the circulation to its full potential of the pool water. Also, the handrails get very dirty, limescale and stuff like that, so they require regular cleaning. And obviously staff need to get into the water to clean them because it's quite a hard task. Okay, environmental steps. Both the swimming pools have full covers and energy efficient lighting. They both have BMS control over their air handling systems. But the difference is Dormers Wells has gone a bit further with variable speed drives, automatic top-ups for their pools, automatic heating. So they're the extra steps that they've done over Janet Adegoke in order to be as environmentally friendly as possible. Okay, so my recommendations, I've decided to choose a Janet Adegoke swimming pool to recommend on ways of improvements. My first recommendation would be to remove this pool ramp. It's a very clever way of getting people in and out of the pool, but it's very underused, and a pool hoist just does the same job and it's less space taken up. So they've lost income because they've lost a lane for hire and people coming in with general swimming, when they could have used that as an extra lane and had a pool hoist in the pool store, which they just wheel in and out, which I very much doubt they would very use. Okay. Also, the recommendations would be to upgrade to variable speed drives on the circulation pumps, upgrade the pool system to automatic heating and automatic top-up. This will save on water and gas, obviously, because you won't overheat the pool and you won't overfill the pools when needed. And also to install better blinds on the windows. So this actually is a photo from the lifeguard position facing the opposite windows, and as you see, here's the lights for the pool, but all at the top there you've actually got the windows, and outside you've got the blinds. But on a clear day in the morning when the sun rises, you've got light coming in and then blinds are not sufficient enough. So my recommendations would be to replace them drive blinds for something more efficient, or have something internally that the lifeguards can control themselves when needed, in order to make sure that they're not facing glare and causing a health and safety issue to their customers. I would also like to change the airflow system for the way that the Janet Adagogi swimming pool is run. So instead of their normal central inlets, we could have inlets right at the end and the extractor points right at the other end, opposite end. And what this will do, this will put the air in and use the air throughout the whole full potential before it's then extracted. So you know that you're not pumping in fresh air and it's being taken away straight away, because you're then heating the air, it's then being put in there straight away and being pumped out, and you're wasting money on gas. So it will be to put the inlets at one end and the extraction points at the other. Thank you very much.